Don't?
Sure you don't.
Are we ready, folks?
Yep.
Good morning and welcome to the August, I have to look at the calendar, 12th meeting of the Rotary Club of Sebastopol Sunrise. Go from the beginning. And here we are.
Oh,
Are we ready? Hello? Are we ready?
Hello?
I thought
Hello?
this
Yeah.
was way too cute. So, Jim, good enough.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge
allegiance
to
to the flag
Flag.
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And is Linton with us yet? I don't think he is. Does anybody have some words of wisdom that they want to share? Oh, Linton, you are there.
Here.
Linton's here.
I just got here. Hey, everyone.
Good morning.
Morning, Linton.
Morning, Glenn.
How you doing?
Good.
Okay. So I got words of wisdom. And I want to get it right. There it is. Good morning. So, Maya Angelou said, if you're always trying to be normal, you will never know how amazing you can be.
yeah.
Good.
God.
So Linton, are you outside or is that a background?
I am outside.
You are
The
outside.
Russian River.
Ah,
Nice. Whoops.
pretty. Wow.
Isn't that nice?
It must be August on the river.
Yeah.
So, wave. Oh, come on, wave.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Good morning.
I dug deep into the club archives and I found this amazing picture of young Joe.
I've got some wonderful ones.
Joe, all the way from Portland. Do you have
Trust
a
me.
song for us?
Trust
And he
me,
has
I've
hair.
never, ever had that much hair.
They didn't have all the mousse and all that kind of good stuff back then.
Never had it.
Just Brill cream.
Not even in your young hippie days?
He didn't have young
never
hippie.
had. My problem was, I've always had the same amount of hair. It's just my head keeps getting bigger. So listen, and not to be, I think I did this the last time I was in Portland, but what the heck? Let's do Home on the Range.
Okay.
All right? What do you say, Barbara?
Sounds good to me.
All right, here we go.
Yep.
Oh, give me a home where the buffalo roam and the
deer and the
antelope
play.
where
Their
seldom
sound
is
is
heard
a discouraging
Eyes are not
cloudy all day.
all day.
Home, home on the range.
where the deer and the antelope play,
Where seldom is heard
discouraging
Word.
And the
And the skies are not
cloudy
cloudy
all day.
Beautiful, Joe.
So, Cyber
Oh,
Rotarian,
that's so
Sean,
quiet.
are you still in Rotary? John Madison, where'd you go?
I didn't know you were speaking with me. What was the question?
Are you still in Rotary?
I am not.
You're not, so you're
I mean,
you're a cyber
I'm
guest.
in a Rotary meeting right now.
Yeah, I know you are.
I've been working on
I
her.
haven't seen you in a long time.
Oh, good to see me today.
I know.
Oh, I'm a cyber guest.
You're a cyber
Yes.
guest.
Hi. Thank you for having me. Sean
I do have, Barbara, I do have some information on Lindsay Apkarian.
Oh, good.
Lindsay is going to be a vice principal at, I don't know if it's a middle school in Sonoma or Sonoma High School. They hired a gentleman from Santa Rosa to take her place at Laguna, unfortunately, through all that stuff. But Lindsay did find a job, I found out yesterday.
Well, I was actually at the Laguna High School website yesterday or the day before, and it still lists her as principal. So I was wondering what was happening. So, well, thank you. Okay, I'm going to mute everybody.
Good.
Here we are. So when it's time for you to say something, which you'll know, there we go. Everybody's muted. Then please unmute yourself. I took, we've been having Michael Cook do some tutorials, so he actually gave me a private session so I could figure out how to do some of this stuff. I'm learning every day. So Bob Keyser and Diana Curtis have birthdays in the coming week. Bob is on the 17th, which is Monday, and Diana is on Tuesday. So, is Bob with us this morning? How about Diana? I know Diana's with us. So, Diana, why don't you unmute yourself?
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you this morning?
Oh, I'm doing okay. It's June gloom in August again.
Yep. It's, we call it Fogust.
Fogust, yes.
So are you going to do anything for your birthday?
Oh, I don't know. I could spend it in the kitchen or in the front room. I'm not sure.
I would do takeout.
Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, I'm afraid it's going to be a stay-at-home quiet one. My brother was asking me the same thing the other day. He's in San Luis Obispo. And yeah, it's going to be here.
Yep. And Bob, it's your birthday too, coming up on Monday. Do you have any plans?
I have to go with Diana. It's either the bedroom or the kitchen.
Yeah, well, we all know how this goes. And your wife also has a birthday, doesn't she?
On Friday, yes.
Yeah. So you can have a giant blowout birthday spectacular takeout.
Yeah, two Leos marrying. It's a challenge.
Yep. Well, happy birthday to both of you. And we hope that you have another maybe less tumultuous trip around the sun this coming year, but no guarantees. And is Brian Purcell with us? I'm still trying to recognize him and Jan for their anniversary on the 3rd. Doesn't look like Brian is with us. Boop. No Rotary anniversaries this week, but here is the big news. This is what was announced on my birthday, and I'm thrilled to death. We're finally getting a woman president for Rotary International. Jennifer Jones is from the Rotary Club of Windsor, Roseland, Ontario. She is proposed right now, and in October she will be voted on, so if nobody challenges her, she automatically becomes the nominee. And I think it's fabulous. Yay! And it's friggin' about time. So what's happening? First of all, after this meeting, if you want to attend Michael Cook, the International Service Committee meeting, we have a number of things to discuss. Then just hang on and stay in this meeting. It's not a separate meeting, stay in this meeting. And you can attend the International Service Committee meeting. Then on Monday, we have the club board meeting. And on the 20th, which is next Thursday, is the SCARC meeting, Healdsburg. And I have the flyer, and I'm going to get it to Jim Goodenough. No. Okay, first my question is, does everybody in the district, everybody in the club get the email with the SCARC information?
I did, Barbara, and I think it's the 27th, not the 20th.
It is the 27th, you're right. I'm wrong, thank you. I didn't correct the slide. So I can either send it around. I know Bruce would get it, and I get it because I'm on the email list, but I will have Michael Fells send it out to everybody because the program is going to be Sonoma County Supervisor James Gore. So it should be Supervisor James Gore will be speaking on the state of the county, all things COVID, resiliency, and more. So it should be an interesting meeting. And a friendly little reminder that dues are due. You can get them to Jerry and mail them to the post office box. Dues are due, and you'll start getting phone calls if you haven't sent your dues in yet. So the week in review, what do we have? What happened last week? First of all, a huge thank you to Al Lustig, Terry Kelly, Linda Sinkay, Jerry Meshlam, Michael McLaughlin. We did, instead of a fireside chat, we did a patio chat to hopefully finish the fermentation process for Marnie and Joyce. Now, I think Joyce is done. I don't know about Marnie. So Al, if you could let me know, and then next week we can do a formal, as much as we can, de-ribboning ceremony for each of them. But we had a great time. We sat out on the patio, and Terry put together a really great packet with a lot of the good information, and I believe you sent it to Jim Goodenough so he could post it into the members only section of our website. Terry, is that correct?
That's correct. It's already up there.
It's already up there. So yeah, it's really great. It's got good information about the organization and how we function and stuff like that. Al, do you, do you have anything you want to add?
Well, the only thing is, if people don't send in their dues, I'm gonna have to send in my cousin Guido to visit them. So just be forewarned.
Okay, thank you. And as part of that patio chat, Linda and I got a birthday cake. So, because of my birthday was on Thursday and Linda's birthday was on Friday, so we got birthday cake. One of the other things that we did last Wednesday, Michael, do you want to talk about this? McLaughlin?
Yeah, we presented, I guess, another 80 vouchers to the Sebastopol Food Pantry, $50 vouchers each, good at Furcrest. And so we have now distributed in the neighborhood of $12,000 worth of food coupons to the community. I think we're doing a great job.
Thank you. Yeah, this is one of those things where I have, my personal feeling is this assistance is going to become even more crucial in the next few months. And then I came across this absolutely darling picture on Facebook. Darlene, is this Ethel or Lucy? But it was the cutest tongue ever. Is Darlene still with us?
There it is.
Yay.
Sorry, I had to get unmuted.
Yeah.
That is Ethel. She's got the biggest tongue.
Well, I love you always post the pictures of your dogs with their dog walking group, and they're always looking so happy. But I saw this one and the tongue, and I just went, okay, gotta share it. It's priceless.
They love their dog walkers. It's
I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do. How many dog walkers are there? Because it's really a large group.
There are 4 ladies walking all those dogs.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. They don't behave with me, but they're great with their walkers.
Of course.
Yeah.
And all the dogs get along?
Yes, they love the other dogs. They're super social, so it's a good thing.
It's so much fun to see because they always post a picture and all the dogs are sitting there in a nice row, behaving, looking at the camera and smiling.
Yeah,
So it must be
I don't know how they do it. I can't get them to sit still.
And then we have some garden bounty. Whose garden bounty could this be? Dan Needham, are you with us?
I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, is this your garden bounty?
It is, yeah. This year, it's doing very well. This year, I get to eat a tomato, not just the deer and the skunks and the raccoons.
Yep. We have a squirrel that comes and tries and takes chunks out of the peaches on the tree. So what kind of rose is that? Do you know?
I don't know the name of that one. It has lost its tag.
Does it smell?
It's beautiful, beautiful smelling and beautiful to look at too.
Well, good. Are you happy about that?
I bring them inside too, so.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you
Every
happy
night?
about your garden bounty?
Oh, it's great. Yeah, does anybody need kale?
How about basil?
No basil? Okay. Well, let's see what's next. I saw this and I thought, okay, this is perfect. The solution for all those extra yellow squash. All you need are chopsticks and a black marker. So weekly announcements. One of the things that we're going to be talking about at the International Committee meeting is Lebanon, because Michael Fels, as he mentioned last week, was the Group Study Exchange team leader to Lebanon back in 2000. And with the explosion and the economic collapse in Lebanon, it's one of those things that just rips your heart out. So I came across this, and this is one of a Rotary Club in LA that is putting together funds to provide food, medical supplies, and building materials. Now I've gone to the Shelterbox website, but at this point it doesn't say anything about them deploying to Lebanon. So I'm not sure what's going on there with Shelterbox. One of the things I read said that there are 300,000 people displaced because of the explosion. So it's not just the death and the injuries, but we have people whose homes and businesses have been destroyed. So what a downer, but yeah. Then now we move on to Michael Cook, and if you have a little quickie Zoom tutorial.
I did. So did you get my slides or no?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Well.
Do you want me to unshare and you can share something?
No, because this is supposed to be short, so we don't have the time for logistics, I think. But I wanted to remind people that when you're looking at the display, when someone is screen sharing, like in my case, I have it in speaker view, so there's Barbara's picture to the side, but it's small. And if you mouse over, there's a vertical line between the slide and the picture, and you can grab that with your mouse on a desktop client for this. And you can move that line so the slide will shrink a little bit, but you get a decent sized picture of people speaking. So you get that choice. I wanted to point that out. There was another tip I had in mind, and I spaced it out here, Barbara. I'll have to save that for the next time, but I think, oh yeah, I did want to mention, if you go to the lower left on a desktop client, there's a silhouette of a microphone and a little caret next to it, and you click on that little caret, you get a pop-up menu. And one of the choices you can do, if computer audio is not doing very well, sometimes it's scratchy or the connection you have isn't that great, you can switch to phone audio. And that means you just use your cell phone and dial into the meeting. You can get the audio and still turn off the audio on your computer, and you can see what's being shared on the screen. So it's just one other option to know about, and that's how you get to it, is that pop-up menu near the microphone settings. So consider that if you need to find a different way to participate in a meeting, you can use your phone. That's it for today.
Yeah, that's the little down arrow thingy that's right next to the microphone. And it has a number of things. Now, Michael, there was one thing I wanted to ask you about, and that is, because I just found out about it on Thursday, and that is when you're in, now I can't remember the name of it, but when it's the grid work of everybody.
Oh yeah, gallery view.
Gallery view, you can increase the number of pictures that you can see.
That's true.
And how would you do that? I know that's somewhere in settings.
That's true. You can
Because we have
go
30
to that icon that's the silhouette of a movie camera, and you click the little arrow next to it. You get a choice of a few settings, and one of them is video settings, and it'll pop up a screen. And you have to scroll down a little bit in the settings area, and the last option is display up to 49 participants per screen in gallery view. So by default, you get 25. And if your computer can handle it, you can get up to 49. But I've run into more than one Mac user that tries to change it, and it says, sorry, your computer can't handle it. So I guess some models of Mac laptop and perhaps some Chromebooks can't really do the 49 participants, but in my case, the option's there and it's checked.
Michael, what does touch up
You
my
can also
appearance do?
You can also go into gallery view and do the same thing Michael talked about, where you find that vertical line and slide the slides over, and you'll get an increase. I've got right now, I'm looking at 3 rows of gallery pictures.
3 columns,
that
yeah.
is just the single one. So just like enlarging the speaker, you can also enlarge the gallery even when the speaker slides are showing.
Especially when.
True. Good point, Bill.
Anybody else have a little Zoom quickie ask question or tip?
Michael, what does it mean, touch up your appearance? What does it do? Make you look better?
Take your hair plugs out.
Yes.
Photoshop.
Yeah, oh, there's a new feature too with the desktop client where if you go, you can do what they call filters, and it'll change your appearance, and it's just for fun. So you can have something like this, for example, or let's see. This one's particularly silly, but you can, there's a array, it's like a bunch of emojis, and in Facebook or something where you want to show some reactions. Anyway, they thought they would spice up the options for how you do your appearance. So
But
that's something
nothing-
to play around with. You have to have the latest version of the desktop client, and I don't think it's available for phones or tablets yet.
So here's a question. How would one know if one has the latest version of the desktop?
Well, you go to help and about, usually in any program. I'm looking at, let's see, if you go to settings, you'll be sorely disappointed. I know the home screen that you get when you first get into the desktop client, you click on the icon that's your picture, and then you can one, check for updates, and I think it'll just tell you what version you've got.
If you click on zoom.us up at the top left-hand corner, it'll tell you about Zoom.
Okay. Thank you, Michael. If anybody has any questions that you want Michael to talk about when we do these little quickies, just shoot him an email.
I have a quick question.
Bring it up each week.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. PJ,
I,
the beautiful bird
these
behind
meetings
you.
are recorded. Yeah, you know, this is due to diversion number 148 by Judy. And it's all about hummingbirds. So make sure if you get that email from her, check into that and make sure you see the YouTube video. Spectacular. Thank you again, Judy. These meetings are recorded. How do we have access to them?
Jim, good enough?
After every meeting, I download from Zoom because Barbara has it recording right now. And then that file goes to YouTube and I update the homepage to have the latest meeting linked. And there's also a link to all the previous meetings right on the homepage.
You are the Cyberman. Thanks.
Yes,
Hey, I just want to make one point about the, what was it, the make you look better option. My wife was experimenting with that. It just makes you a little bit out of focus. That's, just to kind of,
Is that like,
right? A glamour
like
shot.
Doris
Right?
Day, who insisted on having cheesecloth across the lens of the camera so it wouldn't show all her wrinkles?
Right, or smear Vaseline on the lens.
If I can just make a quick comment, I'd like to thank Jim Goodenough for taking that recording of Gloria, Dr. Gloria Willingham Touré the other day and making it available to me so that I could share it with the people at Eden Housing for our organizational development. So thank you, Jim. It all worked out fine.
Very cool.
Thank you. So, do we have any happy bucks? Now, Jim Gilliam, I'm very happy to see you back. You've been in Oregon the last few weeks. Are you happy about being back here in Sebastopol and back with us at Sebastopol Sunrise Rotary? Jim with us?
He's thrilled.
There you are. Aren't you?
Yeah, I'm definitely glad to be back.
Good.
But in Bend, Oregon, they don't have all the restrictions they have down here. So that, we're able to go out to restaurants and there's so many big Cascade lakes and rivers that you can go to and not be by yourself, but, be really well spaced and enjoy yourself. So it was a good time.
Good. Well, welcome back. Welcome back to not being able to get your hair cut and a few things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm about to have Steve do my hair again.
And Al called me, so I'm going to pay my dues today.
Good. Anybody else have anything they're happy about? Linton.
Well, can it be both happy and sad?
Yes.
We're here at the river with my son and his girlfriend and another few friends of his who spent the night, and it's just a wonderful time for all of us to see them growing up. And it's a difficult time because I think it's Thursday, no, a couple days from now, they're going to start going back to Annalee, but remotely, which is a tough thing, I think, especially for seniors. My son is really into baseball and he can't play. And that's really sad, but it's wonderful just to be able to have this time and see them happy.
Good. Yeah, because he's going to be a senior this year. Now, is baseball the only sport that he does?
Yeah, and he really is. I don't know that much about baseball, but I've heard it from a bunch of people. He's their top catcher, and catcher is a big deal for him. And so I'm so glad he has a kitten now. He got a kitten for his birthday and has a really sweet girlfriend. They're being nice to each other. So
good. Well, hopefully baseball's a spring sport, so he can still do his conditioning. Yeah. Nobody knows.
And I'm happy because I was able to go camping with my little camping group for the first time since March. And that's why I sort of tried to log in last Wednesday on the road. We went to Trinidad at a place called Elk Country RV. And actually the elk come right into the RV park. There were over 100 of them I'll send you a picture, Barbara. The racks on those elks were like crazy, and they were like, if you know my office, they were like from here to Aubergines, right? You could walk and be very close to them, and it was super cool. So I'll donate another $20 for Happy Bucks.
Thank you. Good. And being able to go out and go camping. Yes. Anybody else have anything they're really happy about?
I'm happy.
You're happy?
Yeah. Yeah, after 27 years, we finally got our garage/barn painted. And it looks great.
Good.
I'll kick in $100 to the community foundation.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I'll add some happy bucks.
Yes, Jeff.
My younger daughter, Audrey, that lives near Washington, D.C., has started a graduate school program at Middlebury International Institute, which is in Monterey, California. She was hoping to come back to California for a couple of years, but it's all online. But I'm very happy that she's found a passion in translation. She's getting a master's degree in Spanish translation, and so I'm very happy for her.
That's great.
Some money to the community foundation.
Thank you. Anybody else happy? Well,
this is Marnie. Hey, this is Marnie.
Yep.
I'm inspired by you guys, so I'd like to do 50 for fermentation to the community foundation.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we had a great time on Saturday. I thought that was a lot of fun. And it's really, really too bad that we can't do larger groups. There were 8 of us, and that's really about all that's safe. And really looking forward to when we can get back and doing First Fridays and all that kind of good stuff again. Sigh. So now it's time for our program, but I don't see David Mark Raymond. Did you want to do the introductions?
Sure. I'd like to introduce Dr. Paula Fortes from Chile.
Hi. Good morning, Paula.
And a few of us might remember that in the year 2000-2001, Paula was an exchange student with us and introduced me, because she was our first exchange student, introduced me to the exchange student program and became a part of my family. So she has continued to be an inspiring person, has a lot to tell about her experience since, what she's doing now, and how the exchange might have affected her life. So I don't want to spend time having you listen to me. Let's hear from Paula.
Welcome, Paula.
Hey, good morning. And sorry, I messed up the time frame because I thought I was 4 hours ahead and it was 3 hours. So sorry, I'm late. And I'm also working. So I was in another meeting that I said, okay, excuse me, I have to do something else. Well, thank you for inviting me. This is so exciting. Actually, I know I met a lot of you back in December and January, but I know some members were not in the club when I was there. Actually, it's about 20 years since I was an exchange student. I arrived to California August 16th of 2000, so it's almost 20 years. And I always say and try to convey to everyone that it was the best of my teen years. I was just talking about this to my colleagues and saying, well, I was 17. My English teacher said, you know what? You're up for greater things than just being a high school student. So how about you apply for an exchange year? And there was another student that had come back from a Rotary exchange. And we got introduced, and then I had good grades. I had a kind of a clean rap sheet and everything. And I applied and I got in. I was finishing my junior year, and my parents agreed that I deserved to have a year abroad. And I ended up coming to your district. out of the blue, because we here in Chile, it's the district 4220 and the 4230 and 40 combine their exchange students and send it to the US. At least it was about that way when I was in high school. And we did not know which district in the US or in other countries we were going to be. And then of course I got the some emails and some papers about where I was going. My first exchange parents were John and Lana Necker, and I got in contact with them. But the funny thing is, and I don't know if you know, but you can see that I'm redhead. But you guys receive my pictures in photocopy in white and black. So I arrived at San Francisco and everyone was kind of in shock. And then they told me that they did not know because my pictures in black and white show me as a brunette. So they didn't know that I was a redhead. And also, I don't know if they didn't know that I spoke some English because when I was a little girl with my family, we lived in New York. So when I arrived to California, everyone spoke a little bit different, but at the same time, it was easier for me to join. And I enrolled in high school and I did good in my grades and everything. I ended up graduating. I'm sorry, but because of my computer, I cannot show you pictures today. And because those are in the cloud and for some reason I cannot log in just now. But I ended up doing all the activities that we had in the district, and I joined you guys in a lot of things, especially the morning breakfast meetings. And actually a lot of you helped me do my final trip, and I did the Western Safari trip and had really a blast. And it was a great year. I got to be very independent, learn a little bit of how teenagers in the US are raised, because I come from a very Latin country with a lot of, very joint family with a lot of ties and a lot of people in your face doing your things. I know you have all these jokes about the Mexican mothers who never leave you and everything, but Chilean mothers and Latin American mothers are pretty much the same. But I ended up doing a lot of things. And then when I finished my exchange year, I went back and came back to Chile and ended up going to medical school. And actually, David and Susan McRaymond joined me in my graduation. They came here and I graduated in 2009 and ended up working for a program in rural medicine in the countryside where the big earthquake was in 2010. So I ended up doing countryside medicine for 3 years before applying to the Army and joining the Army 8 years ago as a medical health officer. And I've been in the Army for pretty much 8 years now. So I'm a major in the Army. And I recently just finished my residency in public health. And because of the pandemic, I have a very fashionable specialty now, because most time people don't know what we do in health management and health area of, epidemiology and all the things. But now we have a lot of work. And actually, I've been working the past 3 months like crazy, because we have to make sure that, because we're in a state of an emergency here in Chile, and some people are confined and have quarantine areas, all the Army and armed forces are involved in controlling people and how they move around the cities. And I live in a large city, I live in Santiago. So a lot of our people are deployed and we have to make sure they're safe. So that means doing a lot of advising, having to do checkups, visit some regiments and stuff like that. So I'm actually doing a lot of what I was trained to do. A lot of people that go into public health do a lot more management, but I get to do a lot of advising also. And here I am 20 years later. I very much enjoy joining in your activities when I was in December. I know I didn't get to see everyone or thank everyone, but I joined you with the turkey dinner and some of the activities you had. And it was so fun because it took me back to 20 years ago. And actually, my little sister ended up doing her Rotary exchange in France. And we had several kind of exchange siblings. We received kids from Germany, from California, and we are still in contact. I mean, one of my American host brothers works in Japan now, and he travels like every other year to visit, and we know his family. So what I want to say is that Rotary helped us like be a Rotarian, like honorary because my parents are Rotarian, but an exchange family, and we enjoyed it as a process. My family got to host other kids. I was hosted by you guys, and we can really learn about each other. Actually, my best thing to do with the exchange students is help them learn Spanish here, and they learn with all the slang and all the type of Chilean Spanish, and a lot of them then go into bilingual careers or have those skills to work with throughout their lives and throughout their careers. And also we have a whole network of exchange students and friends all over the place. I continually am linked, thanks to Facebook and other social media, to friends that are in France or in Italy, or some of them even work in my own field of medicine in Sweden. So it really makes us be closer. And also, of course, when I went there 20 years ago, there was no Facebook and no iPhones and no social media. But I think now it's super easy to just stay connected and join. And I'm so glad that you can have a meeting while you have the pandemic. And I know the numbers for you in California are not going very well. And it's so rich. I mean, I didn't get to video chat with my parents for a whole year when I was in the US, but now it's easy. I mean, I talk to David every other week, I think. I try to, and we stay connected and with all that's happening with his family and everything, and I'm a part of that. And I very much thank you for inviting me and for letting me speak to you. I know for some years, maybe your Rotary Club hasn't hosted students, but it's really the opportunity of the lifetime for a kid who's between 15 and 18 years coming from another country. You have a beautiful area, and it's very safe. I mean, every parent is afraid of the kid going into a big metropolis and getting lost in I don't know, partying or whatever. But then being in smaller countryside or different districts or different how do you call it, communities, is very, very enjoyable. I mean, I had a blast. I still talk about my exchange year and the connections, and I'm very thankful to Rotary and to your club. And I don't know, it's been 20 years, and it's been like I just left a couple of years ago. So that's what I wanted to say, and I don't know if any one of you have any questions. And thank you for having me.
Well, it was really great to see you in December, and you helped us make tamales.
Yeah.
And we found out all about how we don't make them the same way they make them in Chile.
Yeah, we do it salty and with no filling. It's just the paste. So
Paula, could you talk a little bit, because of the COVID thing, what's the situation in Chile? How is a public health issue? Are you handling it? Do you have the same quarantines and shutdowns and all that kind of stuff?
Okay, so Chile is a republic.
Right.
We have 16 regions, but they are joined. So we have a Republican government. And when in December and January, the pandemic started, here about maybe mid-February, there was an alert. So a lot of I mean, what you have to understand is that every country is prepared for the next pandemic flu, because everyone's very afraid of the flu, of the avian flu, of the chicken flu. So when H1N1 hit in 2008 and 2009, everyone was prepared. But then there's been Ebola, there's been SARS. So every country is prepared for a pandemic. And here in Chile, so we have the alert, and then we have to start preparing. And then our first cases started in March. And at first, for the first month, we only had cases that came from abroad. And then about in April, it started to be in the community, and then we lost trace of whoever was coming out of the country. And because of that, when it just started the community, it's called phase 3 and 4 of the pandemic, we declare a state of an emergency. So that means that a lot of the funding goes towards containing this for every ministry, like for health, for defense, for the class got suspended, kids went sent back home, people started working from home, things like that. But the state of the emergency here for us means we have a curfew. Between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m., no one can go out of their houses, as to avoid people from moving around and spreading virus. But we know this virus is very asymptomatic and it's very efficient in being propagated. So we've had some problems. And to that, some areas, some districts and some regions have to be in quarantine. And actually I live in downtown Santiago, and I've been on quarantine for 140 days. I get to come to work because the issues that I deal with here in the Army, I need to access the documents here. I cannot take them home. And but 140 days means a lot of people have lost their jobs. A lot of people are under a lot of stress. We're seeing some problems in mental health. And also there's the economic pandemic as well. People are losing their jobs and not being able to afford their living, because at first you would imagine that since the virus started from people that travel, you suppose they're in they have good income and stuff like that, but then it started spreading to the poor and underprivileged districts, and that hit very hard. I have access to day-to-day data just because of my Army position, and there's areas that have had it worst, and there's some regions of the country that got locked down, and after 2 months, they're having a second and a third wave. So we're having a lot of problems. People want to reopen businesses, and I guess it happens in every country. Small businesses cannot survive either if they don't sell because they don't belong to a bigger company and stuff like that. So that happens here too. The middle and smaller companies are like owned by 1 or 2 people. They have to lay off people and stuff like that. So yeah, it's I think of health, but also a very economic pandemic as well. And about the health area, we have different types of health services. Just like you, we have a system of HMO and also a system of mandatory public health insurance. And the government in this state of emergency joined all the networks. All the private, even our hospitals, the military, private and public hospitals are all in one big network of hospital beds. And they started moving patients from different districts. They started moving teams of people, and they started moving ventilators and other things. So we're pretty busy. I get to see a lot of that. And now, personally, we have an issue with opening the borders. I mean, Europe started opening, but it's unlikely that we'll be able to finish the state of emergency in anytime soon. So I'm hoping for December. And some people want to be open next month, but I go, yeah, and I want a Ferrari, but it's most likely that I'll get a Ferrari before they open the borders. So yeah, it's a lot of work. Everyone's at their best, but at the same time, people are getting very, very tiresome of all the situation, the health teams, and also the people and every worker. I mean, kids are at home trying to be educated by their own parents who have to work from home, and it's not like they don't have anything to do. I mean, they have to feed themselves, clean themselves, and we even have things that are not getting done because it's not like you're at home working all the time. Some people that have kids have to end up working very late in the evening, and that's an issue. I mean, for us, our server here in the Army closes up at 7 p.m. After 7 p.m., you cannot access the data because of security issues that someone else designed. And that's in order to be more efficient. But then for people that have younger kids that go to bed at 7, they cannot do their work. So it's an issue for everyone. And we're expecting a lot of mental health issues from now on and into a long time. I mean, the pandemic of H1N1 flu lasted 8 to 9 years. And I don't want to be apocalyptic, but I think for the next 3 to 4 years, all of us will be very busy. And the pandemic mode will be on for a while. So that's what I can say, Barbara. Thank you.
So Paula, I've got a question. And it's a tough one to answer because you cannot speculate truly on what your life would have been like if you had not been sitting in that classroom and talking with that teacher. But how do you think perhaps your life might be different because of the year you spent here? How are you different?
Well, I think I learned a lot about diversity. I mean, I come from a very structured Latin American country with a very structured family. And in California, I got to see different types of family, different types of, the whole LGBTQ movement was not very popular. I mean, we were talking about the 2000 years. Mm-hmm. So I got to see a lot of different realities and got to learn how to deal with it. And also the Rotary program itself here in Chile and in the US taught us about, well, there's not bad and wrong, there's just different. One has to be able to see different and look different and understand it. I mean, we did a lot of exercises of community sharing and stuff like that, but it's learning that you can be very different and you can be appreciated and you can be respected and you can own it and just be different in every area. I mean, I don't know, because I don't know, but in school, I mean, I never got bullied or discriminated, but a lot of my, I don't know, classmates who were from maybe some Mexican descent were discriminated. So I got to see that too and learn a lot. And well, when you're 17, I guess you're a sponge, so you get to see everything, maybe not analyze it just like I would do now 20 years later, but it helped me understand, talk to different people and be at their level and develop some people's skills and be very independent. I mean, when I got out of school and of medical school and decided to go to work for 3 years in the area where the big earthquake was, of course, my parents said, yeah, of course, something that you would do because you're up for it and you'll pour yourself into whatever people need. And at one point, my dad said, well, do you have to go? Can't you just stay in another area that's not under the earthquake? And I said, well, but they need me. And that's something I learned with Rotary too, to be at the service of different people and to join and form a community. And that's some things I saw in the Rotary, with the Rotary members and in the state of California that I learned. and it helped shape me the way I am. Also gave me a great skill because they're colonels that are not as bilingual as I am, and I have been able to keep it up, so it's very fun. And yeah, I learned my life without the exchange probably would have been a doctor anyways. But then having the experience of being an exchange student made me look forward, push forward, and have a different light of seeing things. And I would like to say it helped me mature, but it definitely gives you a different stamp. Because even now, when I came back from, I mean, I am a medical doctor, I am in the Army, I'm a public health specialist, I'm finishing my master's in health administration and all that. And still remember always to say, well, this person exposed this or that because they're different, and their difference I have to understand and work with. So that's something I learned in the exchange student program.
Thank you, Paula. You're a great ambassador for youth exchange. And I think one of the things that we miss is that this is when we would be welcoming our new incoming student, and we can't.
Yeah.
And it really is hard because the youth exchange program, my family, I was out of the house, but my youngest brother was still in high school, hosted an exchange student from the UK, and we're still in contact with him. You know, this is how you have family all over the world. It's Rotary. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
And just, I want to just add that my sister who went to France, after going to college, her best friend from France came and took her to France, and they're getting married next year. Nice. And they have 2 kids, a house, and everything. And that's just because of Rotary, because otherwise she wouldn't have not gone to France.
Yep.
And yeah, it's so funny. And I have other friends who actually got married and stayed together. Yeah. And it really, it's I think a family. And I'll tell you something that David doesn't know. When he was going through chemo, as you know, at one point I said, well, I want to visit you. And I go like, well, but I don't know how it's going to go. I don't want to see anyone. I don't know. I just hold on. I don't want to see anyone. And I told him, well, you know what? I'm not anyone. I'm your family. And I'm your daughter. And I've had a relationship with you for so many years. And then he says like, oh, well, sorry, honey. I mean, you know well. But I really feel like one of his daughters, because I know he doesn't have other daughters. And it's about that. It's just about that.
Yep.
So I want to thank everyone for inviting me, especially David. And yeah, it's about staying connected.
Yep. Thank you, Paula. Welcome. Thank you. Come back anytime. Now you got your time to, oh, we're on daylight savings time, so it'll mess up.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. You changed something, and I ended up not knowing what time was in California. So thank you if you had to extend your meeting for me.
Yeah.
And well, I hope I can join some other time too.
Paula, hi, got a quick question for you. Did you drive the tank that's on your wall?
No, actually, no. This is one of the engineer's office. I have a cubicle. I'm not as important, so I don't have my own office. I just took this office to visit with you guys for a bit.
Well,
and actually, I changed out of my military clothes because if I'm in military uniform, you cannot post any of the pictures or anything. So I decided I'll just borrow a jacket and put it on. So, yeah.
Well, thank you for coming today. It's most amazing. Thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you,
for
Paula.
having me.
I have to disagree with you.
Okay, so
When you
now
say
back
you're
to
not
our
important,
regular
You're very
schedule.
important to us.
Thank you, Bill. Yeah.
So, Michael Fells, do we have a number 17 today?
We have a number 17, and that lucky person is Linda Sinkay.
Woohoo! Linda, you get. So I will scratch it off, and anything that, if there's anything winning on it, I will let you know. Private Citizen Scott, do you have a way clean joke for us?
Hi, kids. You betcha.
Yoo-hoo.
So, as I'm sure you all know, I love popsicles. I love them. And I asked my wife to bring me some popsicles from the local neighborhood Safeway. And when she did, I found out they have jokes on the sticks. These are going to be hilarious. Brace yourself. It's going to be funny. Okay. What kind of clothes do frogs wear? They wear jumpsuits. Wait, there's another one. They're hysterical. What happens when a kangaroo gets angry? He gets hopping mad. Okay, last one. What do you get when you cross a policeman with a skunk? You get law and odor.
Oh.
I could go on.
Those are
but
great.
I'll spare you.
Those are great. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
I saw this one when I was looking for deer happy buck pictures. Why do the deer need braces? Because he had buck teeth. Joe, take it away.
Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling on to then. Happy trails to you till we meet again.
Thank you all, and remember to
Bye.
stick around for the International Service Committee.
Thank you for having me. Stay safe. Wash your hands.
International
Thank
Service.
you.
Thank
Bye.